In this video, we will now build the UI for our currency exchanger app. This is how it looks like here. We can input some numbers, we can clear everything, and we can delete one number if we want. And then we can select the currency we want to convert from. For example, in this case, it's USD. We can see that we have a drop-down menu in which we have a lot of currencies. We can select this one, for example. And this is the result that we get when we convert that to euros. And of course, we can also select another currency to convert to, like this one. And this is the result. We can clear everything as I said. So we built all this UI that also looks really cool in dark theme. If you haven't watched the previous video and you want to just learn how to build this UI, then you can still watch this video. But if you want to get this app working, you need the data in domain layers. You can watch the previous video to actually see how to build that. Also, if you want to build more complex user interfaces and more features, you can do that with my premium course that you can find in the description that will make you build an industry level solid Android app with its own Ktor backend from the ground up. If you are interested, you can find its link in the description. So we want to go to our view model, which is this one, because we still need to set up some things. But before that, since we have UI, then we have actions. So here is the data layer that we built in the previous video with some dependency injection, and also this is the domain layer. Now we are in the presentation. We need some actions here. So we create a new, let's say, interface. Let's call it exchange actions or just action. We have a bunch of actions a user can do. Let's actually see them by again having a look at the UI. The first thing is input, so they can input a number. The second thing is clearing everything, so when they click on this clear. The other thing is deleting, so we say we have a number and even two numbers, we can delete one number like this. Maybe here I made a little mistake, so if I actually have 64 and I delete 6 instead of 4, so I will fix that in this video with you. And then the other action we have is select from currency, so we click on this one to select a new currency, for example this one, and then select to, so we click on this one to select a new currency to convert to. So these are the actions, probably like 5 actions a user can do in this screen. So the first one is a data class that is going to be input, and that takes a var value of type string. Since we can input only strings, then we'll convert that to a number later. That implements exchange actions. We then have another action that is going to be a data object, clear everything, and this just implements exchange action. And then we have delete, and then we have another one that is going to be now a data class like this that is going to be select from, and that takes a var index of the currency that we want to convert from, and then select to. Again, it takes the index of the currency that we want to select to, because all of those currencies are in a list, and we just provide the index of that currency so that we know which one. Now let's go to the view model again to do some things in here. We first of all need to get all the currencies. So let's launch a coroutine in view model scope like this, and then we write state is going to be state.copy all currencies is going to be my exchange repository dot get all currencies. This is the function that we had in the previous video. Just gets us all the currencies. Let's see it. So it just returns all the currencies that we can convert from and to. And the other function right here actually makes the conversion to get the result from the API. Now let's create the onAction function that is really important. Fun onAction that takes an action of type exchange action. And then write when our action is, let's add the remaining branches like this. When it's clear, that is easy. We just want to clear everything from the list. So it's going to be state.copy, and then amount is going to be an empty string, and that is going to be the same for the result. So the amount we want to convert, and then the result that we get after the conversion, that is in our state. And then the next thing is deleting. We want to delete the last letter in our amount that we want to convert. So let's come right here. Let's first get just the amount so that we can work with. So var amount is going to be state.amount like this. And then we're going to write if amount dot is blank, and we don't have anything to delete, we're going to just return. Then here we're going to write state is going to be state.copy amount is going to be now my amount dot drop last one. So we want to delete last number. Here it can be just a var. I think I can directly work with this. I don't even need that, so I can just do it like this. And then after I delete a number, then I want to convert again, since that's a new amount. Convert like this, and then input. So when I input something into my amount, it's going to be state.copy amount is going to be state.amount plus action.value. So let's say I have 34 in the amount, and then I input 4, then I want to add that number 343 or something like so. So we want now to select a new from, but actually after I change the amount again, I want to convert. So call the convert function, and then here I just want to copy this because it's going to be almost the same. So when I select a new from is going to be state.all currencies, and then the index is going to be action.index, actually here all currencies. And then you just copy this again for this last action that is going to be select 2, so 2 right here, and that's it. So after I change one of the currencies or I change the amount, then I have to actually convert. That's how it goes. Let's create the UI. So the way it's going to be is, let's open the app. We obviously have a column for everything, but then we have this first box that takes around 40% or something like so of the screen. Inside it we have these circles in here, and then we have this column that would take these currencies, but then each column has a row for the currency and the amount, and then for the currency and the result. And then we have this other section in which we have the numbers. But actually before that, we also have a drop down menu in here, as you can see. Then we have the input section, in which we have again a column and a bunch of rows for all these inputs. And then each input is just either a number or an icon, or a string or an icon, rather say. So that's how the UI is going to be. Let's go here, and while we are going to just build the UI, we want to go to our data layer to not have too many requests or something like that. We are going to actually stop making real API requests and just return this amount times 0.5. So you don't know what's going on because of course we have a number of requests that we don't want to exceed. Maybe keep that, but let's go here and then create a composable, or you know what, let's create that in a different file. I guess that would be even better. So let's go to our presentation layer. Let's call it exchange screen. That's going to be a file. Are going to use our live template to create this screen. I'm going to leave the link to this live template, which is this one, in the description. So compose screen, it's going to be my exchange, actually just exchange like this, and then let me copy the rest. And then it's going to be my exchange view model. The state is going to be my exchange state, and then the action exchange action. The theme is going to be currency exchanger app theme. So that's how we create a compose screen. And the live template will be, so you want to go here, you want to go to editor, live templates, and then you want to go to, and with compose comp screen, this live template, I will leave it in the description. So you just want to come here, add a new one inside here, and then paste all this stuff in here, and then click on OK or apply. You will have your template to just create your screen easily like this. We want now to actually get rid of this view model in here since we don't need that anymore. Can now also delete all of this and then call our exchange screen core. Let's pass a modifier. I don't think it takes a modifier. No, it doesn't. So what I can do is let's put it inside a box that takes a modifier dot padding, that is going to be inner padding, and put that inside this box. We can definitely make it fill the max size. So just like this, dot fill max size. Now we have it right here. Great. Let's skip actually an eye of what we are going to build so that we can look at it while we are building it. Make it a little small like this. So as I said, everything is going to be inside a column, and we want to fill the max size, obviously. So modifier dot fill max size. We want to give it a vertical arrangement dot space between, and then let's create this top section that is going to be inside a box. So box like this takes a modifier. We want to write dot weight is going to be 0.7f, so it takes just a little bit less than 50% of the screen. And then we can do dot fill max size. Now to create these circles in here, it's just going to be a box that takes a modifier again. And then for this one, we do want to write dot fill max size. Now the fill max size means probably 40% of the screen, as I said. I can do it in a different way, something like here fill max width, and then fill max height 0.4f. So this is exactly 40% actually. So this is even a better way to do it, I guess. Anyway, this is now the first circle. We want to offset it a little bit so that it doesn't just show in the middle of the box, but actually offset it a little bit outside the box. So we want to write offset, that is going to be 200.dp for the X, import dp, and then minus 40.dp. These are just some values I experimented and they work fine. And then I want to clip it to make it a circle, so circular shape. Then I want to give it a background. There's going to be a material theme dot color scheme dot territory and dot copy 0.f1. So we don't want to make it totally visible, but just a little bit. Let's just bring this so you can see it. Then we can just copy it for the other box right here. Now we want to offset this one in a different way, so it's going to be minus 280 dp and then 150 dp. For this one, it's going to be inverse primary and 0.3f. We can run the app to see actually what we get. So here it is, as you can see. I may be taking too much space of the screen. I'm not sure. This looks like more than, I don't know. Anyway, I think it will be fine later. So this is how it would look like. However, the background of this outer box is going to be background material theme dot color scheme dot secondary container, but that actually needs to be before the padding, which means actually not here. Unfortunately, I'll have to do that outside here before the padding, like this. So I think now it looks the same. We can check the other app. This is the other app, and as you can see, it's the same background. After that, we want to go ahead and build now our exchange section, in which we have all these exchange stuff like selecting like the currency and the amount. So let's go here, and it's going to be a composable exchange section that takes a modifier. Not only a modifier, it will also take a state of type exchange state on currency select picker, like this maybe, and it's going to be on open. So when we open it, on open currency picker, that takes a boolean, whether it is from or to currency. You can go ahead and call that one right here after this box. It's going to be exchange section, and the state is going to be my state. We can now also pass our own on open currency picker like this, and here we get is from currency, and we'll do this later. However, let's now build this. Everything is going to be inside a column that will now take this modifier that we passed, and we want to fill the max size, which is again 40% of that column. And to actually fix this, so here we have 40%. After that, we should have something like a box modifier dot fill max height that takes now 60%. That's how it would look like. We want to say vertical arrangement dot center for these, and then we want to start with the first row that will have the from currency. This will take a modifier dot fill max width, and then dot padding horizontally. Let's go for, let's say 20.dp or 24.dp, and then we want vertical alignment dot center vertically, horizontal arrangement dot space between. So we want everything to be centered vertically, but then horizontally we want to push them away from each other, because we'll have two rows a row in this number inside it. So another row for just this section, in which we have the picker, you could say. This one will actually take a modifier first. Modifier, we want to make it clickable, and when we click on it, we want to call on open currency. This is now from currency, since it's the first one. It's going to be like this. Inside it, we want to have a text that will now show the state.from.code. So remember that from in the state is a currency, and let's just do something with this text like a font family. That is going to be font family dot monospace. This is just a font that is already there in Underwood Studio, and then font size is going to be 30.sp. Import sp like that. We want to add now a spacer that is going to have a width of 3.dp, and then this icon. So it's going to be icon that takes an image vector, icons dot auto mirrored dot rounded dot arrow forward iOS. Description can be select from currency or something like that. And then right after it, we should have the text that shows the amount that we want to convert. So after the row outside there, we can put it. This one is going to show the amount. The font will be the same. The font size is going to be the same. Text align is going to be text align dot end. So we want to have it in the end of the row. The max lines is going to be 1. The color is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot primary. So the color of this input and then overflow is going to be text overflow dot ellipsis. If we have a really large number, then we don't have space, we just end it with 3 dots. We can run this to see how this first section looks like, at least this one in which we have the from currency. So that looks good, but the icon is not in place, which means here I want to say vertical alignment dot center vertically. Now it looks just great. Let's go back to the other app. Now we just keep the same app. So now we just want to copy this row, the whole row, paste it, and we want to put a little spacer there, height 40.dp. And here we're going to open currency picker, but now it's false since it's not from currency, it's to currency. So here, to currency, and select to currency, and it's going to be the result of the conversion. But now we don't want actually this text color, we just want to keep it normal, the primary only for where we input something. We can now go up here to create our drop down menu. That is going to be when we click on one of these, it's created a drop down menu. Let's format this like this. We need a few states and let's put them maybe right here. So var is drop down open. That is going to be by remember savable like this, so that we also remember this after configuration change, because I don't think it's important to have this in our state. So by default it's not open. Import again, duplicate this for the other one, that is from currency picker, so that we know which one we are trying to pick. Now let's go here and then expanded is going to be is a drop down menu open. When we dismiss that, it's clearly going to be is a drop down menu open false, since we don't have it anymore. We can add a modifier. Let's do that in the top here. Modifier dot height in, that is going to be the max height. It says 600.dp, so the max height of this drop down menu, because we have too many items. If we don't provide a max height, it's going to take the whole screen height. So we give it this max height, so it takes a little bit more than half of the screen, or just half of the screen. That's important to have. And then the content is going to be all the currencies. So the content is going to be state dot all currencies dot for each, probably for each in index. That's what I want. And here we're going to have just a column, because how that is going to look like, let's open the other app. So a column, it's going to be a horizontal line and then the text, and then another horizontal line. So that's how it's going to be. So we need a comma for that. Let's go back here. We just want to check if this is the first item, so that we can put a horizontal divider. So if index is 0, we want to put a horizontal divider, because otherwise we wouldn't have it in the top, we would only have it after or below the items. And then we want to put a text that shows the currency. So let's go back here. It's going to be currency dot code, but then we also want to show the currency name, so it's going to be a plus currency dot name. So if we check that, as you can see, the currency code followed by the currency name. Color of this is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot on background, so that we make sure that we can actually see it, and then a modifier to it. So that's the last thing we need, a modifier. We want to make it clickable, obviously, and once we click on one of them, we technically want to hide the drop down menu. So is drop down menu open is going to be false, and then if is from currency picker, that we get from somewhere here, is from currency, it's going to be is from currency. Actually this one is from currency picker. Okay, I probably need to bring this up here. So it's from currency picker, and then we want to open the drop down menu. So is drop down menu open, that is going to be true. So when we click on one of the items in the exchange section that we just built, so here, if it is from currency picker, then we want to have an action, else a different action. So in this case, it's going to be action or on action dot exchange action dot select from, and then the index. We can just copy paste it for select to. That's how it's going to be for the drop down menu. Let's go back to the app and see. Maybe it's working, but it doesn't look good. I don't have a max height that I'm supposed to have, but then also I don't have enough padding. Let's actually also add some padding. right here, dot padding 16.dp. Now I have padding, but I still fill the whole height, which is wrong, totally wrong. Maybe here I should mention max. So the max height. Yes, that looks now better. Horizontal divider, I can still actually see that. Maybe I can, but I didn't add it after the items. So after the text, let's add a horizontal divider. Yes, now we can actually see the horizontal divider after the items. So here, technically, when I click on this one, that is ENR, it should select the from, yes. And then when I click on the second one, and I select another one, like KWD, it should select now too. And that is great. So to continue, let's go down here and then create our composable input section that will take a modifier, and this will also take an on action because we have a lot of actions there where we input things. And then this one now is going to be my input instead of a box. So input section that will take a height like that, and then an on action that is going to be my on action. So right here, how it's supposed to look like. Let's open the app, not this, but the other one. We'll have a column, obviously, for everything. So column that will take the modifier that we passed, modifier dot clip. We want to clip it, as you can see, to give it these rounded corner shapes there. So rounded corner shape, and it's going to be from the top start 30.dp and the top end 30.dp. Then we want to give it a background. So material theme dot color scheme dot say background. The reason why I actually clipped it before the background, so that we also clip the background, because anything that comes after this clip will be clipped. So the background itself will be clipped like that. And then, as I said, we have a bunch of rows. But before that, let's create an input composable that just holds a single input. So a composable row scope a dot, it's going to be an extension function input like this. This one will take a bunch of things, which are, the first thing is a text of type string and nullable, and by default null. If we don't have a text like here, we only have an icon, and then it will take an icon of type image vector, again by default nullable if we don't have an icon like the rest of these. And then the color of the input, that is going to be of type color, and by default it's going to be material theme dot color scheme dot on background. If we want to change the color, for example for clear, it's going to be red. And then on click, when we click on an input, that provides a string, which is the value of that input, and returns unit, but also it has a default value of an empty lambda. Because when we click on all of these, then we do have something to input. When we click on clear and delete, we won't actually have anything, which means we want to call a different action. The input itself is going to be inside a box that takes a modifier, which is actually the modifier that we passed, and we want to give it a weight of 1f, so that takes the whole possible weight in this row, and then dot fill max height to fill the max height that we have. So as you can see, when we click, it takes the whole possible weight or width, and then it fills the whole possible height. And I want to make it clickable, and we want to call on click. The text or the string is going to be my text, which is the input of the text that we have in there. If that is null, then it's going to be just an empty text because I don't have anything. And then we want to add a content alignment dot center. We want to center everything inside this box. Here we're going to write if text isn't null, then we want to show a text, else if icon isn't null, then we want to show an icon. So it's going to be text in here, and text font family, let's say font size 35.sp, and then font family dot monospace, and the color is going to be color. We go for the icon now. Icon that takes an image vector, which is clearly my icon. Content description can be null or probably text if I have it, but technically it's null in this case, so I'm just going to write null. And then the tint is going to be color, and a modifier dot size 30.dp to give it a size. That's it for the input. Now let's go add those inputs in here. So it's going to be a row, and this row will take a modifier the dot fill max width. We want to fill the whole width for the row, and then we want to give it a weight of 1f. So we want to fill the maximum possible weight because we want all of them to have an equal height like this. As you can see, they have an equal height. And then the reason why I have weight 1f for this one in a row scope, because I want these, as I said, to have the same width. I can just call my input. So input, the text is going to be, in this case, or for the first one, 7, and then the on click like this, on action, and then I'm going to write input it, which is actually the text I get from this lambda function in the on click. And as you already guessed it, it's just going to be like this. So we have 7, 8, 9, and then for this one, the input is going to be C, since that's clear, and then the color is going to be red. And then the action is not going to be input, but instead clear. We can now copy this row because it's really going to be the same. So copy this row like this, paste it for the second row. It's now going to be 4, 5, 6. And for this one, it's going to be empty since there is nothing in here to input. So I'm going to keep it empty like this. We can copy this one, paste it down here, 4, 1, 2, 3. Again, this one is going to be empty. And then for the last one, that is going to be 0, 0, 0, dot. But the last input is not going to be empty. It's going to be an icon. That is icons dot auto mirror dot rounded dot backspace. And then the color is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot primary color. On the on click, I want to call on action exchange action dot delete. That's the input section. And let's check our app. This thing is stuck in there. Maybe I didn't call that. I don't remember. So I did call it. Let me just rerun the app. Maybe I need to rerun it. So it is there, but it doesn't look as I expected to actually. Here, let me just film at only 2%. It's not about that. There's something wrong here. So let's say 8. I think I just need to go back and use weight as I did previously. So I'm going to write weight. That's going to be 0.7f. That's how I did it at first, and it looked fine. So let me just copy this and go down here, and then again weight 1.3f. So yeah, that's how it should look like. Now it looks just great. So yeah, I think that's all great. If we input something, we do get new result. If we click on this, we do clear. If we click on this, we do get the result. Of course, remember that we are not making any real requests, but I think everything looks as it's supposed to. When I delete, I do delete the last number. If I select another currency, it will indeed be selected. Now what I can do is I'm going to go to my repository, close the app first, and then uncomment this code of the real API, comment this one out, and run the app again because I didn't want to make accidentally too many requests. Now we have the real API. As you can see, $1 is equal to this in euros. If I want to select my country currency, so actually the drop-down menu refused to open, and I did not understand why. But what I did is I just took this converts function that I do in the init block and I put it inside the view model scope, or the coroutine right here, and now it's opening. I don't understand why, to be honest with you, but that's how it worked. Putting it outside that coroutine didn't make it work. So anyway, now let me select another currency. For example, in my country, it's going to be MAD. So let me search for that. This is it, MAD. And $1 is 9 dirhams. And so yeah, everything is working fine. $18 is 175 dirhams. So everything is working just great with our UI. And yes, we just finished building our clean architecture currency exchanger app. If you want to build an even bigger app with more complexity, with more features, with all the industry skills, you can check my premium course in the description, in which we'll build an app with its own Ktor backend from the ground up. Also, support me by subscribing and leaving a like to make more videos just like this. See you in the next video. Bye.